Greg Allen coming to you again from our beautiful Irvington Theater so I can present to you another solo series. Our artist this week is Marc Palmieri, but we know him as Professor Palmieri. That's because Marc is a professor right down the road at Mercy College, and he brings his students here to see so many of our events. You may have seen some of his students as ushers when you've come here or working in the box office, so we have a huge connection to that college. But Marc is also a playwright and a screenwriter. He's been published, he's been produced several times, and he's been one busy man during this quarantine. Now, not only did he write what you're about to see today, which was 10 separate stories that he put up on Facebook every day, and now he's recorded all of those. We're seeing the first 3. You can go to his website to see the rest of them after this. But he also wrote an entire one-act Zoom play which got produced by 2 theater companies already. It's being published in a book so that other theaters can do it. The man is truly thinking outside of the box. Now, if you know me, you know I've talked about boxes, black box theaters. I love this space. I love what all we can do here. But I would love if we had some small little black box where you could do an original new show or a small cabaret or something really small and intimate. Well, Marc has created one of those theaters right there in his basement in his home, so that's where he's going to show us what he's doing today. Take it away, Marc.
My Decameron. 10 days of the coronavirus plague in Queens. Day 1. Wherein I wonder if I will survive my family. It is raining, but somehow I feel optimistic. I stepped outside to pick up the New York Times lying on the stoop. I said to myself, I will read this, hard copy, like old times. And then I will know what I should know of the world beyond this house. Then I shall make the most of this day while I live, sequestered, perforce. What might I produce today? What might I discover in my studies? In this bleak time, there is the gift of time and isolation for me so far. I must use it well. Perhaps the heart is logical. The more it brushes death, the closer death feels, the more it insists on living. I am lifted. Then my wife yelled at me from the office window on the 3rd floor. Marc, I need your help here on Google Classroom. I looked up at her face stuck between the barely open window and the sill, nodded stoically, and went back inside. I washed my hands. Our small and nasty dog was then at my heels, barking. I moved to the back of the house and let her out. My 3 pet birds were singing for the night blanket to be removed and their food trays refilled. I moved to their cage to begin this work. My daughter Nora on the 2nd floor called from her bed, asking with attitude if I knew where a charger was. I did not answer as I rejected her tone. I realized then that I would have to take our elder daughter Anna's morning medicine up to her 3rd floor room, and I took a pill from the bottle in the high cabinet, which always takes a few moments to get the safety cap open. I went to the sink then and began washing and refilling the birds' dishes. They kept singing, which to them is singing, but to me it is screaming. And as I approached the cage with their dishes, I saw that they were all 3 looking at me. The 20-year-old African gray said my name, clear as day, in a perfect imitation of my own voice, without subjective expression of any kind. It was like a fact. Marc. I took her out and put her on the stand, and then she said, shower. I told the parrot that I had already showered. She said nothing at first, but when I turned my back, she said my name 4 more times, faster and louder each time. The dog outside the glass of the sliding door barked repeatedly to re-enter. As I struggled to open and close the sliding door holding all 4 of the birds' trays, my wife yelled again, "Google Classroom." Nora repeated, louder, about the charger, yelling this time that everyone uses her charger and that I must be the one who now has it. The dog, trained by my wife to be rewarded just for stepping outside for a moment, returned to my heels to growl at me for the treat she feels she deserves. Anna from her room, somehow knowing perhaps that I had become frozen in a state of paralysis near the kitchen Alexa device beside the toaster, dropped in and asked if she could watch The Breakfast Club on her laptop. I clutched her pill in my hand. I realized then I'd forgotten I had it. I found that it was half melted into an orange stain in my palm. It was at that moment that every living creature in this place was yelling, or barking, demanding, or asking me to do something for them, to decide something for them. But I, like Hamlet, unpregnant of my cause, could not. To be or not to be? That is the question. Day 2, wherein I find my face very fat. Each day I begin by saying to myself, your face is fat, and it's the beer. Tonight you can't have beer. Let's use this terrible time to lose the face fat. So each morning I have celery juice, coffee, and a small lunch at around 1. I feel very healthy. I use resistance bands to work out. It feels good to know that tomorrow I'll be a bit skinnier in the face. Then at about 7, I say to myself, I know that 2 beers a day is considered healthy for an adult male. So I open my first Brooklyn Ale, and when I'm finished, I open my second. I feel great, and very nostalgic for all my friends near and far. I think about the 1990s. Then I feel hungry. I watch the news or help the girls with their work. Then maybe an IPA or a third Brooklyn Ale, or who knows, maybe something else that's in the fridge. Then I eat enough for 3 male adults and am so full I can't talk well and need to lie down. I head for the sofa. This is when we have wonderful family time. I lie silent on one side as we watch The Walking Dead or Homeland. I fall asleep before the end of the episode, so later, as I pull myself upstairs, the girls tell me about what happened in the show. I'm so fat by now, it looks like one of the volleyballs from the teams I coach has bounced up my shirt and lodged there. I brush my teeth and floss, then go to bed, reading 2 or 3 times a paragraph of whatever novel I'm reading. I sleep deeply, shifting only when my restless leg syndrome starts and I kick the dog or my wife. I awake sometimes after 8 or 9 or 10. Tonight, I will not have beer. Day 3, wherein I attempt to make a donation. I began to feel that being in the house all day was helping me to note what was unnecessary, and to better envision a house without these things. I decided I would donate all unnecessary things. I called the Vietnam Veterans Association. They have a good system. You call them, they come pick up whatever you put in front of the house in black garbage bags and toss it into a truck. They were due to come this morning, so I packed some bags last night and put them outside. I put some of my old shirts and pants and some basement junk in them, like puzzles and board games and old school science projects and weird toys. Also a foot-tall, hard wooden rocking chair in the basement that said Anna against which I have smashed my shins over the years. Only a toddler could fit in it, and only a toddler named Anna would feel comfortable in it for very long. I have to say, it felt good to see that sucker go. Later, my wife came downstairs from the office where she'd been all day on Google Classroom and went down to the basement. In a minute, she called out, "Mark, where's the small rocking chair that says Anna?" So soon it was right back down there as usual, ready to take out a shin. Then she asked me why I brought it outside in the rain in the first place. I told her about the donations. She grew agitated. I asked what was wrong. She said she wanted to approve everything I was giving away, and now must go outside in the dark and the rain and inspect the bags. I didn't ask why she didn't trust me. I already knew. One time long ago in the happy apartment rental days when we thought a 3-day blackout was rough, she would fill one garbage bag each week with her work clothes that needed to be taken to the dry cleaner. One morning I thought it was for donation, and since I was headed to see my friend George in Hell's Kitchen anyway, I dropped off many thousands of dollars worth of nice work clothes to the Salvation Army. At the time, she was very upset, and so we went back to the Salvation Army, but the lady there said everything I dropped off had sold like hotcakes. Kristen cried, but I thought it was very wrong to cry about clothes. And I said maybe we should break up since my values as an artist were very different than this display of materialism and quite inconsiderate of the joy that these clothes must have brought the needy. She said she worked hard for those clothes, and if I was really an artist, I should probably not get into the habit of talking like a philanthropist, especially one that gives away stuff by accident. I think after that, she never trusted my judgment about most things, but certainly when it came to bags of stuff. We went outside and opened the bags. We were quiet at first, but soon I said, "I've grown up a lot, you know, and understand now that someone might have a job where they need to wear nice clothes and they get dry cleaned." I added that I myself even have a job almost like that. She said she had no idea what I was talking about, but please shine the cell phone light into the bags. She sifted through, and it was cold, and it took forever. I carried a lot of crap back into the house, but she did approve of the old science projects and all of my old shirts and pants and my worn-out belt from Old Navy as good choices to be donated. I felt pretty good about this and our marriage. The VVA never came this morning, I assume because of the plague, and I just brought all the bags back inside. Maybe I'll just keep all of it.